Yeah, I think I still prefer Stephen Amell with a bow and arrow as opposed to a hockey stick. Hello once again, watchers of good movies. My name is Nick Pell, and this is once again coming from my apartment. Now today we are going to be talking about the film Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. This is the sequel to the 2014 film Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is a reboot of the franchise, so let's talk about it. It has Megan Fox and Will Arnett returning as the main human characters, April O'Neil and I don't remember Will Arnett's character's name. And I actually enjoyed Megan Fox's character a bit more than I did in the first film. It's been a while since I've seen the first film. Admittedly, I only saw it in theaters, and that was 2 years ago now. But I enjoyed her character for what it was in this movie. She didn't really stick out that much like a sore thumb. And the film decided to focus much more on the chemistry between the turtles, the brothers, and what's going on with them and their relationships, as opposed to just focusing on April O'Neil as more or less the main character. Stephen Amell is introduced as well as Casey Jones, and he has a very cool introduction when he eventually dons the mask and the hockey stick and everything. That's only in one real scene though, which was really unfortunate because I was hoping that he would be his own type of vigilante in and of itself, but he's really not. I don't really know a lot about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles lore, so I don't know how big of a character or vigilante Casey Jones is supposed to be, but I just didn't feel like he was very well used. Like, he was more in just a Stephen Amell attire, just regular person, than he was as this vigilante. I was waiting throughout the whole course of the movie for them to just make kind of a funny joke as to like him maybe picking up like a bow and arrow and just kind of dropping it as replaced for a hockey stick or something, just to allude to Arrow and him being on that show. I would have really appreciated that. It's just kind of a fun little Easter egg. One thing which works really well, as I've mentioned, is the chemistry between the turtles. I really like the brotherly connection. They all seem to have their very different personalities and just the way that they react to different things. I really enjoyed seeing them on screen together, and like I said, they seem to be much more the focus of this movie, which is how it's supposed to be. We don't have Shredder, we don't have Master Splinter, we don't have April O'Neil as the headlines of this movie. It is solely focused on the brothers for the most part. These characters are still involved, but they're not, again, the main focus. CGI continues to look very, very good. It is a little bit noticeable in some parts, which didn't bug me a ton, but it was kind of frustrating that I could notice it a few times. But for the most part, CGI looks fantastic with both the Turtles and with Rocksteady and Bebop. Speaking of which, these two characters are easily the high points of the movie. They are hysterical, and I loved almost every scene that they are in. There are these two thugs who get turned into a rhinoceros and a warthog, and they just have these really funny personalities. They're idiots, but they're idiots with brute strength, and they're just really fun to see on screen. I really enjoyed their characters. The film is also fairly funny. Like, I didn't laugh out loud at a ton of things, but I could appreciate the humor and what the film is trying to go for. It does dive into kind of cheesy dialogue at times and just kind of awkward dialogue in others, but for the most part, it wasn't really terribly noticeable with the dialogue. And I mean, it's a movie that's aimed more for kids than for adults for the most part, so I was able to kind of accept that. The main issue that I have with this film more than probably anything else was the fact that there wasn't really a central villain for the movie. Yes, Shredder is still in this movie, he still has a role, but he's not really the focus. He's not really a main villain, and then they bring in this other evil person, which is brought in and shown for maybe like 10-15 minutes of screen time at the most, and then just kind of gone. There's not really a central villain which they focus on and which the Turtles are just trying aiming to defeat throughout the course of this film. It kind of disappointed me in that regard. Like, it seems like they tried to just take care of Shredder in the first movie, and then they just use him as more of like a side character or a task collecting character in this movie instead. They didn't really have that huge presence in this movie, and I was really disappointed with that because I feel like they were going to have this huge awesome fight scene with him and the Turtles. Just never really happened. But guys, overall, I thought that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, it was fine. It's a good sequel. It does what it needs to. It isn't necessarily better than the first one, but I enjoyed it for what it was, and I'd say check it out if you were a fan of the first movie. Turtles chemistry looks good. I like seeing the human actors just do what they are doing without overshadowing the main characters, and yeah, I thought it was a fun time for the 2 hours that I had to sit through it. But guys, those are my thoughts on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Did you like it as much as I did? Did you hate it more than I did? Let me know. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe once again if you so choose. I'd appreciate it immensely. And as always, my people, my name is Nick Pell, and once again, keep on watching.